Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government expresses satisfaction with ongoing operations by the security agencies across the country as it throws weight behind community policing and pledges readiness to fund the initiative. President Buhari leaves for London to participate in the inaugural UK-Africa Investment Summit holding on Monday. 14 people killed and many others injured after bandits stormed Babanrafi village in Gumi local government area of Zamfara state. And Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei defends his country's armed forces as he rallies support after the army admitted shooting down a Ukrainian passenger plane by mistake. Plus, business, sports, news from the FCT, and of course later from our studios in London. Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku TV as well. We're going to continue with security matters now. At least 14 people have been killed and several others injured in an attack on Babanrafi village in Gumi local government area of Zamfara state. The bandits reportedly stormed the community with over 40 motorbikes in the early hours of Thursday and opened fire on the residents who were still indoors. They also carted away several valuables from the residents, including animals, mobile phones and money. The police public relations officer of Zamfara State Command, Muhammad Shehu, says the bandits invaded the village from neighboring Kebbi State. He explains that a combined team of the police mobile force, counter-terrorism unit and Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, along with military troops from Operation Haradindaji, have mobilized to the area to apprehend the perpetrators and prevent further attacks on neighboring villages. Meanwhile, the Emir of Potiskum in Yobe State, Alhaji Umaru Bubaram, is asking the government to take security of lives more seriously to avert further attacks on innocent citizens. His comment is coming days after he survived an attack by armed bandits in which 4 of his aides were killed along Zaria-Kaduna Road. He, however, said one of his aides is still missing and prays for his safe return.
Sound of guns was everywhere, from the left flank, from the right flank, and from the front flank. The gunshot was unbelievable. It's just like a war field. So instantly, as we were moving, I saw my pilot driver swapped, and then he hit a standing vehicle. And the shooting, I suspected, might have affected him and the police people around with him. So as the shooting was going on, we decided to abandon our vehicles and take to safety. God, in His infinite mercy, led me to escape the danger zone, and the gunshot continued for almost 2 hours. So I continued trekking into the bush until when the sound of the guns was a bit far off from me. Then I decided to stay.
Meanwhile, shortly after today's Security Council meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari departed the nation's capital, Abuja, for London to participate in the inaugural UK-Africa Investment Summit holding on Monday, January the 20th, 2020. The summit is expected to bring together African leaders, international business chief executives, and heads of international organizations to create new partnerships that will deliver more investments and jobs in Africa and the UK. Apart from highlighting new perspectives on the UK-Africa Partnership for Prosperity, issues of sustainable finance and infrastructure, trade and investment, future African growth sectors, as well as clean energy and climate are expected to dominate discussions during the summit. The summit is also expected to deepen Nigeria-UK investment ties, given that Africa currently represents just 2% of British trade activity, with Nigeria accounting for only 10% of that total. Let's cross over to Abuja now, and here's Makwe Ogun Yusuf. Makwe.
Hello, Ijoma. It's good to see you. We welcome our viewers to our Abuja studios. And we begin with politics. One of President Muhammadu Buhari's wishes is that he hands over power to his successor quietly in 2023. And with that in mind, he's reiterating his promise on ensuring that the election is free and fair. The president made the comment at a dinner with members of his legal team for the 2019 presidential election petition in Abuja. He explains that the turnout of Nigerians during his campaign across the 36 states of the Federation in the build-up to the elections and the vote he got were clear indications that his re-election was not a fluke. He also told the team that he was already looking forward to a peaceful handover in 2023, stressing that he was morally bound to fulfill that wish.
In piloting my presidential election litigation, you credibly demonstrated a deep understanding of the law and its practices. I am indeed proud of you all. I am confident to also state that we are securing a convincing and unanimous legal victory at the Supreme Court. You have by so doing ensured that the political mandate of the Nigerian electorate is now firmly secured. Your enormous contributions have affirmed the rule of law and further entrenched democratic governance in Nigeria. This legal team is an assemblage of some of the most scholarly legal teams ever assembled in this country. I must note that the aforesaid legal successes recorded through your excellence have assisted me in fulfilling this government's desire for a better Nigeria. Your learned, eminent silks and other members of my presidential legal team, please permit me at this juncture to recognize and applaud in a special way the personality of our lead counsel, a man of tenacity and tactfulness, Chief Wale Olanpeku-San.
Muhammadu Buhari, President of Nigeria. In the meantime, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2019 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, is asking his party to set up a special committee to review last year's general elections with a view to re-strategizing for future polls. The former vice president gave the advice at an emergency meeting of the PDP in Abuja, where he asked members to mobilize citizens for the defense of democracy. According to him, while his party re-strategizes for future elections, it is important that its leaders look critically at the various roles played by the electoral umpire and security agencies during the 2019 elections.
I would like to propose that a strong committee to review the last elections and recommend to the party needed reforms and address the challenges in the last elections be set up forthwith. But what cannot wait is that we should not take what has been happening in our democratic processes, from the role of INEC to the role of security agencies and the judiciary, for granted. If we take all these roles for granted, that will be the end of our hard-earned struggle, including our founding members who are today not alive, it has become very necessary for us to mobilize Nigerians to resist the threat to our democracy, unity, and development.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Now, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, is blaming the Independent National Electoral Commission for what he describes as a mismanagement of the Imo State governorship election, which resulted in the sacking of Mr. Emeka Ihedioha as governor. The ruling party also frowned at the opposition People's Democratic Party over the call on the Chief Justice of Nigeria to resign his position. Mr. Oshomole insists that the PDP lacks the moral attitude to question the decision of the Supreme Court on the declaration of Senator Hope Uzodinma as winner of the Imo State governorship polls in 2019. When the news at 10 returns, the Debt Management Office announces plans by the federal government to refinance up to 3.6 trillion naira local debt this year. That's on Business News. Do join us again.